These are strategic partnerships, meaning they allow us to support faculty collaborative research, student opportunities, and our Global Hubs program is working very closely with the Office of Global Learning. And there's a wide variety of rich programs that we are offering, and we are hoping to expand when it comes to student experiences.
You're listening to Speaking of Language, a podcast recorded at the Language Resource Center at Cornell University. Each week, we explore a topic related to language pedagogy and second language acquisition. This week on Speaking of Language,
we catch up with Şebnem Özkan to learn what's new in Cornell's collaborative interdisciplinary initiative with partners around the world, Global Hubs.
Welcome to a new episode of Speaking of Language. I'm Angelika Kramer, the director of the Language Resource Center at Cornell University.
And I'm Sam Lupowitz, the LRC's media manager. Today, we're joined once again by our colleague Şebnem Özkan from Cornell's Global Hubs program.
We will discuss all that's been happening with Global Hubs since the initiative's founding in 2022.
Welcome back to Speaking of Language, Şebnem.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for the kind introduction and hosting me again. And my first question for you would be, how much time do we have? Because there's a lot happening with Global Hubs.
Fantastic.
So maybe you would, invite me for another session down the road as well.
Well, good. I'm glad there will be no shortage of things to discuss today. But before we talk Global Hubs, let's remind our listeners who you are. Can you let us know what's your role with Global Hubs, and what is your background and path with languages and language learning?
Sure, happy to. Again, I'm Şebnem Özkan, director of Global Hubs, and I'm part of the team, Global Operations team in the Office of the Vice Provost for International Affairs. I think in January I will be completing my 3 years at Cornell, and we launched Global Hubs in fall 2022. So Hubs is almost 2 years old. And before Cornell, I primarily worked in area and international studies in great institutions, University of Wisconsin-Madison, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and Georgia Tech before Cornell. And I managed primarily U.S. Department of Education-funded international and area studies programs, and language training was a very important part of it. I've managed FLAS, Foreign Language and Area Studies fellowships, and organized various events around languages, did a lot of teacher training programs in the field of languages. So language training and language learning is very close to my heart. And at Cornell, I'm also trying to stay connected to the Mario Ainadi Center for International Studies and my colleagues in different area and international studies programs there. So we are trying to grow Global Hubs together, not just Mario Ainadi Center, but also colleagues across campus. It is a truly collaborative initiative from the start, and it continues to be the Global Hubs, and we love to keep it that way. I'm originally from Turkey, so obviously you're hearing an accent, and English is my second language. And I tried to learn German when I was in college for a couple of years, but failed miserably. And I think I'm most envious of people who can speak multiple languages. But so far, it's just Turkish and English for me. I can understand some of the Turkic languages, definitely the Azerbaijani Turkish and some other Turkic languages in Central Asia. But I would not put my name in any competition for those languages. So that's about me.
Understood. Well, great to have you here. And for our listeners who may not recall, let's talk now about Global Hubs. What's the initiative all about, and where are the hubs located?
Global Hubs is Cornell's strategic partnerships across the world. Currently, we have university partners in 11 locations, and we are working with 18 university partners. We are also in the process of thinking about adding a couple more university partnerships, but nothing is set in stone yet. We are still having conversations on campus with our stakeholders as well as with those potential partners. But right now, 11 locations and 18 university partners, and these are strategic partnerships, meaning they allow us to support faculty collaborative research, student opportunities, and obviously our Global Hubs program is working very closely with the Office of Global Learning when it comes to student mobility opportunities. And there's a wide variety of rich programs that we are offering, and we are hoping to expand when it comes to student experiences. Engaging with our alumni across the world in Hubs locations as our strategic partners is an important pillar of the Global Hubs initiative, and engaging with public and private sector and local communities. So when you think about Hubs, we typically refer to four main pillars: faculty research, student experiences and mobility, alumni engagement, and engagement with public and private sectors and local communities.
Gotcha. Can you give me some examples? What do some of those look like? What are some? I'm winging it on this question, but when you talk about those four pillars, what are a few standout examples that you can think of?
Sure. Let's start with faculty research collaborations. One of the mechanisms that we have to foster these collaborations is Joint Seed Grants program that we offer with our Global Hub partners. We launched the program in fall 2022. So we've been through two cycles of awarded projects, and currently we are in year 3 of the Joint Seed Grant program. Hopefully we will be announcing this year's awards later in December. So far, in year 1 and year 2, I think combined we awarded more than 85 joint projects.
Very cool.
Across 10 partners. 10 university partners. And I would want to say, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I think across 2 years, the support jointly by Cornell and by our partners provided to these teams probably close to $1 million across 80 plus project teams. And there's a great variety in terms of projects that they pursue. The call is open to all fields and all faculty. And we do receive applications from all colleges, which is wonderful to see. And when you look at the awarded projects, it's from humanities to social sciences to engineering, life sciences, all across disciplines. So that's fantastic to see.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the seed grants from the last couple of years, and I saw artificial intelligence, healthcare, diversity, equity, inclusion, like all over the map. And that's very, very cool.
Exactly. And we do receive and award proposals from Weill Cornell Medicine. I think this year we received proposals from Cornell Tech. So I think it's a really great program that also brings the Ithaca campus closer with the New York City campuses, not only with our partners across the world, but our Cornell campuses as well. And we are looking into adding a couple more partners down the road.
Excellent.
The grant program. So that's one mechanism for faculty research collaborations and how we foster those connections. When it comes to student experiences, student mobility, I wish some of my Office of Global Learning, Education Abroad colleagues were here because they are the experts in the field. So I will try to do my best to give you a sense of the landscape. What we are trying to do with Global Hubs is expanding student exchange, meaning we are sending students for a semester-long or academic year-long study to our Global Hub partners, and we are receiving students from them. So it's an exchange relationship, and we are trying to expand the exchange program. We are also trying to offer faculty-led short-term study abroad opportunities to students. I think currently we have programs in Mexico, in UK, in Ecuador, just off the top of my head, and others. Last summer was the first year we offered a global internships program. And Office of Global Learning worked very closely, obviously with hubs, with me, but also with Maria Ainadi Center for International Studies to offer the Global Internships program. I believe close to 20 students, maybe 17, 18 of the internship placements were with our Global Hub partner universities. And I think we ended up sending around 40 students. I know the center also participates in the program, obviously, and manages a portfolio in addition to the Global Hub's partnerships. So Global Internships for Students was a new initiative for us, for the hubs that we launched last year. And looking ahead, we are developing a program for incoming students to place them in research internship opportunities here at Cornell in summer 2025. Reciprocity is such a core value to Global Hubs.
Yeah.
So whenever we go to our partners and want to work with them and create opportunities for our faculty and students, reciprocity is always at the back of our mind, and we would want to be able to offer similar opportunities to our partners, faculty, and students. And I think we are doing a decent job on that.
Amazing.
I'm sure I'm missing other things as well, but maybe finally I can just say a few things about alumni engagement.
Sure, perfect.
One of the most recent, and I would say one of the most exciting events that we had was a couple of weeks ago in London at the end of October, early November. We had the second Global Hubs network meeting in London.
Yes.
The first one was in fall 2022 here in Ithaca. And after that event, we really wanted to sort of take the show on the road and visit our partners for Global Hubs network meetings. So rather than bringing everyone here to Cornell, to Ithaca, we thought, why don't we go and visit our partners in different locations and bring, all our partners to that location. So a couple of weeks ago, we were in London, and I would say it was a fantastically beautiful event. Our UK partners participated in hosting the event.
Wonderful.
It was sort of a 2-day engagement. The first day, we had a series of thematic and affinity group meetings hosted across the city by 4 London-based partners in parallel sessions. So that was fantastic. And I would love to talk about affinity groups as well. Our medical schools have been meeting together online for a while. So one of the affinity groups meetings that happened in London was the medical schools meeting, which was fantastic. We launched a new one on women's health, which is a very important global public health issue and even a crisis at this point in time. So we invited colleagues from our partners to join that conversation. We brought together colleagues from all our partners to talk about student mobility and pedagogy issues. That's a separate affinity group.
Yeah.
We talked about research collaborations and how to, foster more research teams across the border. NSF colleagues, NSF representatives joined us via Zoom, and we also had colleagues from UKRI, which is kind of the equivalent of NSF in UK. So that was day one. And we were having all these events across the city hosted by different partners. And day 2, everyone came together for the network meeting, a day-long network meeting. And we had conversations around student mobility, research collaborations, and we closed the day with a panel on alumni engagement. We very much worked with and collaborated with AAD. So colleagues from AAD participated on that panel, and we had our alumni, the chair of UK Cornell Club was there, Liv, and we also invited alumni from our UK partners, Edinburgh and King's College London. So it was a wonderful conversation about the university alumni partnership and how we can work more closely, especially from Cornell's perspective, in hubs locations to create opportunities for our students and faculty. So alumni engagement is very much on our agenda when we think about hubs as well. Maybe just to sort of close the conversation on global hubs network meeting, and we can obviously go on. I'm happy to share more.
Of course.
But we ended up bringing more than 100 colleagues
Fantastic.
from 18 institutions across the world for those 2 days engagement. Interim President Michael Kotlikov was with us, and he also had a chance to meet with our colleagues and address the group on one day during lunch. So overall, it was a fantastic event, and that's when you see global hubs becoming live, and the conversation was very productive, very lively. And I came back with a notebook of homework and follow-up items, which is the fun part, the exciting part.
Good.
There were a lot of great ideas and things that we want to do together. So I think looking forward, that's the next step for us to start working on. One thing that I want to add about hubs is that, you look at the global hubs, you see locations, you see different partners, and obviously hubs are bilateral partnerships. But what we are also trying to foster, develop, nurture is a true network, a multilateral network. And Global Hubs network meetings are one of the main mechanisms to do that. So we are really envisioning hubs beyond bilateral relationships, bilateral partnerships, but a truly network of friends across the world that work with us. So it was such a rewarding experience to see the attendance and the enthusiasm and the ideas and all these different, tripartite, multilateral, bilateral connections being made in London.
Fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that this went so well. Are there any other recent projects or successes you'd like to fill us in on?
Sure. I think, we already talked about global internships, which is, I think, it will only keep growing and deepening, especially with the reciprocity part of welcoming students from our partners next summer. I think that was a huge win. That was a great program.
Excellent.
And continues to be. Because it, also brought Office of Global Learning and INADI and hubs in a closer relationship to create and deliver these internships. So that's a definite win, and I'm so grateful for everyone participated in turning into a reality. Moving forward, we are hoping to create and launch in 2025 a PhD exchange program with our Global Hub partners. So we already started, working on a proposal. We are in conversation with the graduate school and INADI Center as well. And we discussed the project, the proposal with our Global Hub partners in London during the network meeting. So that's a program that we are all very excited about. It will give our PhD students a chance to be embedded at our hub partners and, enjoy the resources that they have, the faculty connections, be able to do field research, and also take courses, maybe including language courses, and use their FLAS fellowships to a certain extent. And we also look forward to receiving PhD students at Cornell as well. So that's one thing that's very exciting and something that we look forward to moving forward. There are many fun, interesting, experiential student opportunities that sort of pop up. Those are programs offered by our partners. And Cornell students have been extremely successful in those programs. I'll give you a couple of examples.
Great.
One of our partners in Denmark is Danish Technical University, and an engineering team participated in the Green Challenge that they have. It's a sustainability focused competition program, and I think they won the third place in the competition. So that was fantastic. It's a similar program focused on entrepreneurship was offered by our partner in Hong Kong, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. And another Cornell team, I think, won the silver placement. So, these are not your standard study abroad programs. It's not exchange, it's not internship, it's not faculty-led. But I think in short amount of time, in a matter of couple of days or a week, they provide really wonderful and life-changing opportunities and experiences for our students, which they enjoy. So I would say, those are our mini wins, but when you look at them all together, they are big wins in our book as well. And we look forward to expanding those programs and opportunities.
Yes. So I want to circle back to that because you were already talking about some sort of upcoming initiatives and things you're working on. Anything else that you hope to see develop with Global Hubs in the near and perhaps more distant future?
I think we are now entering into a phase where we would love to deepen the programs that we have and do a really good job and high quality job. So again, I'm going to go back to the 4 pillars that I mentioned and the examples that I've shared. I think we are looking into just deepening those programs and expanding those programs and those pillars, in addition to maybe bringing on board a couple of new partners. So those are the things that's on the horizon for us for now.
Fantastic. Well, Şebnem, where can our listeners find out more about Global Hubs?
More about Global Hubs. I'm just going to give you the webpage URL. It's global.cornell.edu/hub. That's our main website. And our listeners can go to that page. And if you have any questions, if you want to have a conversation, if you have ideas, if you want to join our newsletter, if you have any comments, you can also send an email to globalhubs@cornell.edu. And we are always happy to hear from you.
Fantastic. And those links will be in our show notes as always. Şebnem, it's been great to hear about all that you've been up to with Global Hubs. Before we sign off, we'd like to ask you to share a word in a language you speak or love or are learning, maybe want to learn, that feels good to say. What's that word?
I think I want to offer a very simple and beautiful word from Turkish. It's barış, and it means peace. And I think entering into the holiday season, I think many of us are concerned about the world politics, the world peace.
Certainly.
So I really wanted to offer this word in Turkish, barış. Again, it means peace. And I want to note a couple of things about the word. It's an active word. It's not a passive word. So it's a noun and a verb. And when you look at the etymology, you see that it comes from reciprocity, helping each other, doing something together, which really also supports the activeness of the word. It's a word that forms the basis of the Republic of Turkey's domestic and international diplomatic policy. I think it was Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of modern Turkey, first used it. It's peace at home, peace in the world. That you can see that writing on the walls in many places in Turkey. And I think I just want to share it with the listeners. At this moment in time, I want to offer the word barış. I love saying it. It's also a name. It's a gender-neutral name, so you can see families give that name to their kids. So there are so many reasons to love that word, and I just want to offer it at this time of the year.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think a perfect sentiment for the time, and we so appreciate you sharing it, and we thank you so much for speaking of language with us, Şebnem.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's a pleasure.
With that, our 14th season of Speaking of Language comes to a close. We will be back in 2025 with new topics and guests. In the meantime, you can listen to our archived shows on our website at lrc.cornell.edu, on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We wish all our listeners a wonderful, safe, happy, and healthy holiday season. Take care of yourselves and others.
Until next year,
Auf Wiederhören.
The Language Resource Center is located on the ground floor of Stimson Hall on Cornell's main campus in Ithaca, New York. Check us out on the web at lrc.cornell.edu.
and follow Cornell LRC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Speaking of Language is produced by Angelika Kramer and Sam Lupowitz.
Recorded by Sam Lupowitz.
Original music by Sam Lupowitz, Dan Gable, and Joe Gibson.
Thanks also to the College of Arts and Sciences at Cornell University.
As a reminder, the ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect those of the College of Arts and Sciences or any other official entity of Cornell University.
We thank our listeners, and do stay tuned for our next episode.